a few years after the end of the Thousand Year Blood War arc, Kubo had given us hints of a Bleach manga continuation via an all-new chapter. The special one-shot chapter had wrapped up on a cliffhanger, resulting in several possibilities for how the story of Bleach can continue. Over the course of this special chapter, we see events slowly unfolding as we catch up with the main cast of characters 12 years following the defeat of Yhwach. This special chapter, titled No Breaths from Hell, was released in August of 2021 in order to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Bleach. It had spanned over 73 pages, and it introduces us to the lives of a new generation of Shinigami via Ichigo and Orihime's son Kazui Kurosaki, who we learn possesses Shinigami powers, as well as having the mysterious ability to open portals which supposedly are to hell. The story also centers around the friendship between Kazui Kurosaki and Ichika Abarai, who is the daughter of Rukia and Renji. Within the chapter, we learn that members of the Gotei 13 have gathered together with Ichigo as they capture a hollow within the world of the living. They are doing this to honor the memories of the captains who were defeated during the Thousand Year Blood War arc. This ceremony that Ichigo is helping with involves obtaining a hollow as a sacrifice for the final rites of soul burial, which is called Konso Reise. However, whilst this is going on, our main characters are ambushed by a horde of hollows along with a revived Xylopolo Granz. This comes as a complete shock due to the fact that he was killed by Mayuri during the Arrancar arc. To make matters even worse, it appears as though he is not alone. So why are seemingly dead characters returning to the world of the living, and why is Kazui able to potentially open portals to hell? What kind of thematic relevance has Kubo given to Kazui's character? In this video, I want to answer the role that he will be playing in the upcoming Hell arc of the Bleach manga. I'll be using the special Bleach one-shot chapter as the basis of my analysis, as well as information from key passages within Can't Be Your Own World. Make sure you stick around until the end of this video, where I'm going to be talking about some important details about how the world of Bleach was created and how it links to Kazui's role within the Hell arc. So without further delay, here is my comprehensive breakdown of what we can expect from Kazui Kurosaki in the upcoming story arc of Bleach. The cosmology of Bleach leaves a lot of room for exploration. It's divided up into 4 different spirit realms. The universe of Bleach includes the following dimensions: the Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, Hell, and the Precipice World, which is also referred to as the Dangai. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at Hell and understanding why Kazui is able to open up portals to Hell with ease. The gates of Hell are summoned when a Shinigami Zanbakudo purifies an evil soul that has committed heinous sins during their time alive. Kubo gives an example of this to us within chapter 12 of the manga and in episode 5 of the anime. The gates of Hell are seen to be shut tightly, and on each side the doors are chained and decorated with the torso of a skeleton. Upon initial inspection, it gives off an immensely demonic and surreal appearance. It is certainly different to the portal that is used to travel to Hueco Mundo, or the Senkaimon that is used to travel to the Soul Society. In addition to humans being sent to Hell, we learn that even Shinigami and Arrancar are not exempt from being sent to this wicked underworld. The Bleach universe's concept of Hell is thus no different from what we know about the afterlife from religions such as Christianity, Hinduism, or Buddhism. We know that the worlds of Bleach are inspired by Shinto Buddhism, so in essence, when one life ends, they are reincarnated into a different realm. Within the Can't For Your Own World light novels, we learn that the realm of Hell had existed before the primordial world of Bleach was separated into the Soul Society, the human world, and Hueco Mundo by the 5 great noble families who had dismembered the Soul King and had made him the linchpin of reality. Now, one of the main reasons as to why the world of the living was created was so that it could serve as a lid to seal off Hell from the other realms. Does this explain why only portals to Hell appear within the world of the living? Because it is connected to the realm of Hell. Now, there is this entire movie continuity about Hell via Bleach Movie 4 Hellverse, which has its own interpretation of what Hell is like and how it is broken down into 5 different levels. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be leaning on knowledge from the Bleach manga and from the Can't For Your Own World light novels. Also, from the Q&As from Kubo's official fan club, he confirms that Hellverse is not a canon movie. In his response to question 454, where he is asked if the settings of the latest one-shot chapter of Bleach and the Hellverse movie are the same, but he replies that they are separate, which means that Kubo's interpretation of Hell is going to be very different to what we had seen within Bleach Movie 4 Hellverse. universe. Within the special one-shot chapter, we find out from the new head captain Shunsui that captains are sent to hell during a special ceremony because the souls of the captains are far too dense with spiritual pressure, and it places them within the upper 3 tiers of spirit class, which is called Rei, a unit of measurement that is used by the nobles in order to measure the spiritual pressure density of a soul. An average Shinigami within the Gotei 13 has a Rei of level 20, while lieutenants usually possess a level of 4 or 5, while captain class Shinigami have a Rei level of 3 and higher. When a Shinigami dies, their body turns into Reishi and returns to the earth of the Soul Society. However, people classified at level 3 or higher are unable to do so because of their high spiritual pressure concentration. So it's for this reason that the Konso Reisei needs to be performed so that their souls can be broken down and reabsorbed by the soil of the Soul Society. Now, things would have been great if Kubo had left it at that, but we learned that the truth of the matter is that a soul that is so densely packed with spiritual pressure is actually unable to be reabsorbed by the Soul Society. And if the Shinigami allow their overly powerful souls to linger within the Soul Society indefinitely, then it would pose a greater risk to the stability of the worlds. So the true purpose of the Konso Reisei is revealed to send the potent souls of the deceased captains into hell. So now that we've set the stage, how on earth is it that Kazui Kurosaki is able to access the fiery dimension of hell? To be honest, when two of the most powerful characters within Bleach had come together and had produced a new life, it is no surprise that Kazui Kurosaki has a lot of weird and wonderful powers. Before the birth of Kazui, we learn within the We Do Not Always Love You light novel that Ichigo and Orihime's wedding was hinted at when Renji pesters Ichigo on why he is keeping Orihime waiting. It is apparent through Ichigo's funny but yet awkward interaction with Orihime that their friendship at this point had not yet progressed into a romantic relationship. Well, as it turns out, he didn't wait around too long, since now they have a child together. Now, our favorite characters are still of course based within Karakura Town, and Kon is now Kazui's mentor figure, who provides a lot of comedic relief for fans within the one-shot chapter. Now, we see him desperately begging the young boy not to go off wandering again in the middle of the night during the start of the No Breaths from Hell chapter. Over the course of the one-shot, we learn 3 things about Kazui. The first is that he is a mischievous character who will certainly be utilized by Kubo as a plot device to set up new stories within the Bleach world. I think through Kazui's character, we're going to learn so many new insights about the realm of hell. The second point about Kazui's character is that it's evident that his parents do not approve of the portals that he is opening. This is shown when Kon states that he does not want to get into trouble again. We can see here that Kubo is clearly hinting to us that Kazui has opened portals up before and his parents don't want him to continue doing so. So for whatever reason, he is still sneaking out at night, and this aspect of Kazui's powers may well be a very important plot point in order to set up the major events of the Hell arc. When Kazui opens the portal, he asks Kon if it's the first time that he is seeing it, as he reassures him that it's not scary. He then proceeds to clap 3 times, and then bow down twice, and then clap 1 more time, as then a portal to Hell opens up with several Hell butterflies appearing around him. He opens this portal so that a lonely soul that he visits can go through it so that he won't be alone from now on. Now, I'm assuming that Kazui believes that he is sending these souls to the Soul Society, but in actuality he is sending them to Hell. How many souls has Kazui done this to? As he states that everybody is through the portal. Now, the third point about Kazui's character is his undeniably powerful lineage. I've done a separate video where I've talked about the insane potential of Kazui, but just to summarize, all of Ichigo and Orihime's powers have been fused into a young Shinigami, and it will be interesting to see if he can defend himself against the denizens of Hell, and if he will encounter any resurrected characters like Ukitake or even Xylopodo. The portal that Kazui opens within this one-shot chapter is exactly the same in appearance as the one that Xylopodo emerges from. Upon closer inspection, we can see that each of the portals are decorated around the edges with teeth. While this may be the first time that Kon is seeing this portal in particular, Kazui appears to have summoned this portal before in the past, as he reassures Kon and then the soul that everything is fine. It makes you wonder if Kazui is being manipulated by one of the denizens of Hell. It could be any number of the enemies of the Soul Society and Ichigo who have been sent to Hell over the course of the Bleach story. It definitely would be fascinating to see them having befriended Kazui in order to use him because of his insane potential that he possesses. Speaking of potential, we can speculate that Kazui does in fact possess Fullbring abilities. We know that Ichigo is a combination of a Quincy, Shinigami, Fullbringer, Hollow, and lastly a human. Within volume 2, page 50 of the Can't Fear on World light novels, Urahara explains to his Kurosaki that Orihime and Chad are classified as Fullbringers. He states that Fullbringers are derived from humans and are essentially beings that are forced to mutate through external forces. The only difference is that Chad and Orihime's powers were influenced by being in close proximity to Rukia, who in fact had the Hokyoku within her, and it was thanks to the Hokyoku which had acted as a catalyst to activating their own unique powers. This is the only thing that sets them apart from other Fullbringers. Otherwise, the origin of their abilities and their resultant powers is exactly the same as the other Fullbringers. In order to be a Fullbringer, a person's mother needs to have survived a hollow attack. The second prerequisite that we learn is that the person themselves must have a part of the Soul King within them. We can conclude that Kazui is thus both a hybrid and he has a piece of the Soul King within him, thus granting him the ability to control matter itself, which is a very high level Fullbring ability, similar to Orihime's ability to reject phenomenon. For example, Ora Michibane, who is a Fullbringer only mentioned within the Can't Fear Unworld light novels, she was revealed to have the Fullbring ability to manipulate matter, but it was limited to the 3 dimensions, as she was able to freely manipulate the souls of any matter, such as blood, bone, the earth, and even air. Kazui does not have these limitations due to his lineage, and it is very likely that he can alter space and time as well as physical matter. There has also been a lot of talk about if Kazui has his own inner hollow within him. We know that White was an experimental hollow created by Sosuke Aizen many years ago, and it was created from the souls of several Shinigami. We know that White had become part of Ichigo's other powers and had thus formed his true Zanpakuto, but within the final few manga panels of chapter 686, Kubo illustrates Kazui's Zanpakuto in a way that appears to resemble Ichigo's manji-shaped sword guard. The similar appearance of their Zanpakuto implies that they may well have similar abilities. For now, we can safely assume that Kazui likely has either hollow or Fullbring powers to some capacity. White is completely bonded to Ichigo and will not be going anywhere. On the other hand, if there was an offspring to White that manifests through Kazui, that would be a super cool concept. Imagine seeing hollow Kazui as a kid. It would either make for an awesome character or a really bad fanfic depending on the execution. Now, I want to spend some time talking about the opening monologue of this one-shot chapter. Now, Kubo doesn't make it explicitly clear who the narrator is who is telling us this story about 2 goldfish living in the same place, with the larger goldfish passing away, with the remaining goldfish then being left alone, which had made the narrator feel lonely as well. But after the passing of the larger fish, the smaller fish, which was actually stagnant, had started to grow again, and it had flourished more and more. Upon seeing this, the narrator had felt great relief, and they had felt thankful that the larger fish had died. Now, some people have speculated that this narrator is in fact Kazui. Now, you can make a plausible argument for this case. The opening monologue does have some childlike qualities to it, with the narrator's emotional stability being evident, with how their mood is so heavily affected by the survival of their pet. In typical households, we know that children often or not bond very closely with pets. It is children who invite their real-world pets to play a part of their fantasies that they imagine. The vivid and rich imagination of a child is constantly fueled by the things that they see. Similar to the instincts of an animal, children spontaneously imagine things out of instinct. If the narrator of this opening monologue is in fact Kazui, then it would mean that the Hell arc is going to be one of the most darkest stories that we've had within Bleach. This is because the imagination of a child is not typically focused on death and survival. If Kazui is the narrator, I do wonder what Kubo is trying to convey to us thematically here, and what does it mean for the role of Kazui's character going forward. At the very least, this could be a subtle hint at Ukitake's Zanpakuto, which is called Sogyo no Kotowari. Translated into English, this means Law of the Twin Fish, which is quite literally depicted as the opening scene of this special chapter with the 2 goldfish in a bowl. In addition to this, Kubo might be hinting at the overarching theme of the Hell arc, which is going to focus on the imbalance between Hell and the rest of the realms. The fish story is a metaphor for how the captains that are sent to Hell were too overpowered. The larger fish, representing the captains, are dispatched to this underworld so that the weaker fish, which represents the other souls, have a chance to grow and feed on the reishi that is left behind. Kazui may be acting as a bridge across the 2 realms, and it is pretty clear that he has some sort of a connection to Ukitake. With Kazui only being a child, it means that he has heaps of latent potential, and with this comes an air of mystery. As we are introduced to this brand new realm that we know very little about, it appears as though Kazui has some familiarity with it. His smile, at the very least at the end of the one-shot chapter, indicates that we should be feeling some excitement or a sense of adventure as we are about to discover the realm of Hell. Or on the other hand, it could just mean that Kazui is just a seriously mysteriously weird kid who happens to be connected to the underworld in some way. What we do know about Hell is that some recently deceased characters reside within there. According to the Thousand Year Blood War arc, some of the most powerful characters who recently died, including Unohana Retsu, Head Captain Yamamoto, and Chojuro Sasakibe, appear to have all ended up in Hell. Some fans have speculated that Kazui may not begin the story as an overpowered main character, and the reasoning behind this is that Ichigo had gone through a lot of training and self-introspection to become as powerful as he is today. He had also delved deep into his own past and had uncovered a lot of truths about his Quincy powers as well as the death of his mother. It would be boring if the son of the main character simply had his powers handed to him on a silver platter due to his outstanding lineage. When Kubo returns with the Hell arc, we will undoubtedly see more of Xyloporo, because he was in fact an evil individual as mentioned within the Spirits Are Forever With You light novels. Before he became a Hollow, he had conducted experimentations on humans. Fans who were expecting to see previous Espada such as Ukiura and Stark may be disappointed because we don't really know definitively about how they had lived their lives as humans. We need to know if they were evil and depraved enough to be warranted a place within Hell. At the end of the No Breeds from Hell one-shot chapter, Xyloporo makes an incredibly eerie observation. He points out that in reality, Hell has always been nearby. Of course, he is speaking about the presence of the Hell butterflies. We first see them within chapter 1 of the manga, and we learn about their different use cases within chapter 231. This is the black butterfly that is usually paired up with a Shinigami. They guide the Shinigami through the Dangai while traveling through a Senkaimon. I've made an entirely separate video explaining everything that there is to know about Hell butterflies, so definitely check that video out. One of the biggest questions at the end of the one-shot chapter is the mystery behind the name of the Hell butterflies and why they have Hell in their name. I wanted to make this video because seeing Kazui Kurosaki was one of my highlights from the No Breeds from Hell one-shot chapter. There are so many possibilities that Kubo has for the direction of his character, and fans like myself are super excited about his latent potential and how his abilities are going to be growing as the story progresses. It will be fascinating to see Kazui's interactions with other characters, to learn more about his backstory, to see the return of some old villains, as well as being introduced to a plethora of new characters. And the best thing about all of this is that Kazui serves as a bridge between the new elements that are going to be introduced into the Hell arc against all of the old aspects of the story that we are very familiar with. We've now reached the point of the video where I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What do you think about the role of Kazui within the Hell arc? What are your thoughts about his latent potential? And what are your speculations about the meaning behind the Konso Reisei ritual? If there was anything about the one-shot Hell chapter that I've forgotten to mention, or if there is a very obvious theory about Kazui's role in the Hell arc, then definitely let me know in the comments. I look forward to seeing how all of you continue the discussion in the comments, and lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see you in my next Bleach speculation video. If you enjoy my content, then you can support my channel through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or even through YouTube by becoming a channel member. You will gain access to exclusive channel perks and a Discord server which I frequently use. So become a member of my Zero Division and be the first to know about my upcoming videos. And once again, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.